Kirby finally reaches his 30th anniversary, and with this big milestone for the Pink Puffball, I decided it's probably the best time to dig into the world of Kirby fan games. I found 11 really cool ones we're going to be taking a look at, and they won't be in any particular order. Anyways, you ready, Kirby? Well said, and let's get started. Have you ever dreamed of building your very own Kirby level? Well, Dreamcrafter allows you to do just that. It's really easy to learn with a simple user interface. You can place the terrain, enemies, objects, and even decorate using the tile sets. You can also import your own custom assets too. This may not be the best example, but you get the idea. Select your music from a large list of 8-bit Kirby tunes, including remixes from other Kirby games, and share your level as a PNG image. Then import the image into the game and play the level. This makes it really easy to share levels with friends, and in fact, you can find this level that I created in the description. See if you can collect all the stars. With its many tools and friendly user interface, I truly recommend trying out Dreamcrafter. This game is still in development, so hopefully we will see more features. Overall, an amazing Kirby fan game and an excellent way to start our list. Next, we've got Kirby's Dream Land Plus, which is a fan game from Team Gamble. This is an enhanced recreation of the Game Boy original that includes new features with some modern elements. This game starts out exactly the same, but as it continues, you'll visit new areas, as the original Kirby's Dream Land was quite short, so this makes it a bit longer. Unlike the original game, there is the addition of the copy abilities, which are very similar to how they behaved in Kirby Squeak Squad. There are also multiple playable characters, such as Gooey, bonus minigames that are a staple of the Kirby series, and much more. There is even a level editor that has exclusive objects. While not as in-depth as the one in Dreamcrafter, it's cool nonetheless. I like the new improved music and visuals as they keep to the Game Boy style, but seem more refined. I could imagine this game actually playing on an actual system. Kirby's Dream Land Plus also includes its own story, taking place right after the events of Kirby's Dream Land, and even Escargoon from the Kirby anime makes an appearance. This game is still in active development, with this being just a demo, but I'm very excited to see the future of this project. Next, let's take a look at Kirby's Dream Land Advance. This is a faithful remake of Kirby's Dream Land, but in the style of the Game Boy Advance games. The story and all the levels are identical, but one thing that I had trouble adjusting to was the lack of the copy abilities, which is not as big of a deal because I know that's how the original game was, but it's quite annoying because I kind of expect that to be there, especially with this visual style. So yeah, it makes the game kind of feel weird, but you can run and slide, which were features not present in the original. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Why is there no copy ability, but why are these new moves here? But I do appreciate the attention to detail, as the presentation is clean and the visuals are polished. But if you ever wanted to experience the original Kirby's Dream Land, however in a better visual style, this is something I definitely recommend checking out. Next up, we've got the KWRPG Trilogy. These are games created with RPG Maker and follow the story of Quor and his friends. The first game, I have to admit, was a bit rough around the edges. I did like what it was going for, however once I fought this Wise Waddle Dee, the game just crashed, so yeah, that was my experience of that. But the second game is much better, as it does feel like a proper Kirby RPG experience. It's got a wonderful 16-bit art style, unique characters, and cool areas to explore. It's also got a classic Dragon Quest inspired battle system, which is pretty cool. And finally, the third game refines the formula from the second game with a battle system more similar to the classic Final Fantasies. It also features a new plot and new characters. Overall, the KWRPG Trilogy is pretty cool, and if you've ever wanted to play a Kirby RPG before, I recommend checking them out. And this is probably the closest thing we'll get to an actual Kirby RPG, so please Nintendo, please HAL make one, that'd be really cool. Now, what happens if we were to mix Kirby and Mega Man? Well, we'd get KWRPG Buster, which is the latest entry in the Kirby Warrior RPG series. This game is more of a Mega Man styled game that takes elements from the Kirby series. For example, Kirby can only jump and slide, while using many Mega Man inspired abilities. This game goes for that NES Mega Man style and looks really nice as it uses Kirby's adventure and Mega Man NES assets. The music is really nice, although with some obvious reused music mostly from Mega Man 10. I do like all the Kirby enemies in this game. I think it's really cool how they behave as they should, and the stages are cool too, with many recognizable assets. But the levels are based on the Mega Man games, as the camera behaves very similarly. All of the bosses are just Kirby OCs. It's cool, but it would have been even cooler to see Meta Knight, King Dedede, and other familiar Kirby bosses. Now, I'm not much of a Mega Man player, but I do enjoy playing the games. I was playing on the easiest difficulty mode, and it was still quite challenging, especially since the enemies rarely drop anything. So I would say that if you're a Mega Man and Kirby fan, this is a game I would recommend checking out. Next, we've got Kirby, The Dream Battle. This is a fighting game created with the Mugen engine, an engine that allows you to create fighting games. This game is a bit different in that you don't play as Kirby, but rather the many Kirby characters, and Kirby doesn't even make an appearance in this game. Mega Man is here too. I don't know why, but I guess he's a Kirby character now. But I do like how many of these generic enemies have been given full movesets and attacks. The gameplay is really good, and there are a bunch of really cool moves and everything is fast and fluid. Visuals are based on the GBA and DS styles and look quite nice. I appreciate all the details within the stages too. And speaking of the stages, there are around 20 of them, all from different Kirby games. This game, however, is in beta, but the last version was released in 2016, so it's unfortunate to say that it may not be further developed. The game is still pretty far along and has quite a few things to do, so it's not really that big of an issue. While we're on the topic of fighting games, Kirby Battle Blitz is yet another. This game is an easy to play fighting game with all the Kirby fan characters that Jalen Bra, the creator of the game, made. There are plenty of different Kirby fan characters to play as, and I really like their designs. Some could be in an actual Kirby game, since the Kirby series isn't foreign to the idea of original Kirby characters, as Kirby Clash allows you to create your very own. Kirby Battle Blitz includes many unlockable characters, and they all have varying movesets. There are also familiar enemies and bosses from the Kirby series that you can fight, an arcade mode that includes breaking the targets, there's a multi-mode and tag mode which allow you to create your own squad, and even multiplayer including online. There's a lot of content. Now, I'm not the best at fighting games, as my main strategy is... yeah, it's not the best, but the game does include a fantastic presentation and a great visual style, excellent sound design and music. It's really great, and I definitely recommend checking it out. Next, let's take a look at a bunch of 2D Kirby platformers. Starting off with Kirby Invaders from the Dark. This is an original 2D Kirby platformer game that is inspired by the DS titles. In the game, Kirby wakes up and finds out there's trouble brewing and sets out to save Popstar for the 1,000,000th time, with the antagonist this time being the Invaders of the Dark. From here, the game begins and you enter the doors to the levels. The levels feel pretty high quality. I like the different locations as they all feel quite distinct from each other. They look and play great, and the music choice ties everything together. Bosses are cool too, even if some of them were a bit more challenging than they needed to be. But overall, a pretty cool 2D platformer. Next, we're going to be taking a look at Kirby Return of Dark Matter. Why is it so small? Yeah, I can't make it full screen, and I tried everything, so editing Anton will have to do all the work. The developer Vanton has taken the time to make the gameplay feel extremely close to a Nintendo-made game, and that's no easy feat. Kirby's got a bunch of copy abilities, and they all feel great to use. The game is supposedly a mix between Kirby Superstar and Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. I like how the camera moves smoothly, and the same can be said for the inhaling and spinning out animations. I also really like the sliding level. It's a bit challenging as there are no checkpoints, but it's a cool way to change the gameplay up. And that's it. That's the entire game. It's short, but sweet. Our final 2D Kirby fan game could potentially become one of the best ones yet, and that is Kirby Galaxy Gamble Stories. This Kirby fan game, once again from Team Gamble, takes Kirby fan games to a whole new level, as it includes an epic story with brand new characters. First, you get used to the gameplay by traveling through Green Greens. And then you meet this card thing which becomes Kirby's partner. Yeah, that thing is definitely gonna betray Kirby, and even Meta Knight is pretty suspicious of it. Next, you explore the Halberd, only for something to go wrong that requires Kirby to escape, and then you're off to a few other areas. And the final boss is... Magalore, what are you doing here? Once you defeat him, he becomes good, and lends you his ship to travel across the universe to destroy the evil that possessed him. And then the credits roll. Yeah, this is just a demo, so much is unfinished. But this game is still in active development and looks promising from the videos shared by the official YouTube channel. It looks like a massive improvement from the demo, and I'm very excited to see the full game. And of course, you can check out the links to the channel in the description. But wait, I've still got one more game, and I saved the best for last. And this game is Kirby Cosmic Chaos. This is a game that takes inspiration from the cancelled Kirby's Adventure game for GameCube. This game's beta was released in 2009, so it was in development way before the existence of Kirby's Return to Dreamland. This game looks really nice, despite it being quite old. The levels are very creative, and I like how the camera follows the player similarly to Kirby 64. Unfortunately, it is just a demo, and was never completed, which is quite ironic considering that it was trying to be similar to a cancelled game. The game includes a 3D hub world in which you can move the camera around and access 2 of the levels. Yeah, so not a lot of levels, however you can still spend a lot of the time in the game trying to recruit party members, as you need to buy the character template and then have the copy ability equipped. It's extremely tedious and took me a while to do. The concept of having multiple party members was seen in Kirby Adventure and was used in Kirby Star Allies. There is gameplay of future builds on YouTube and they look great, but unfortunately we will never be able to actually play them. But the team's vision has already been realized with the release of Kirby Star Allies and now Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It's incredible to see what the Kirby community has managed to create in the past 30 years. Hopefully we see a lot of projects being completed and new ones being started as well. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button as it always helps out the channel a ton. Are there any significant Kirby fan games that I missed? And what fan games would you like me to cover next? Well, let me know and I will see you all in the next one.